Welcome, viewers, back to Heart of the Machine. In the most recent episode, we were waiting for an investigation to complete here, which has 2 more turns, as Tech P504 here is leading the investigation, supported by a handful of Predator drones. We have 1 mental energy left on the clock for this turn. Unfortunately, we made the foolish mistake of sending Tech 503 here in to do some nanotech lab work here, which turned out to be a mistake because the locals didn't like it and marked him defective. Although the last time I looked at this, he was defective. Now he's blending in again, so I suspect there's a slight issue there. What else can we spend our 1 point on? We have a Raven somewhere, right here, also waiting 4 turns, although the Raven is so well hidden that we can't even see her here. And further around the map, I suppose we're just consolidating things like these, the vehicles. This is the TYS Neptune. Why is the TYS Neptune marked defective? We can give fresh identities to vehicles. Well, that's interesting. Let's do it. TYS Neptune no longer defective. Great. That was a good use of our last mental energy there. Just check in the rest of our vehicles. We must have used that vehicle to attack someone and got marked defective that way. But it's been so long since that happened, I don't remember that attack. But yeah, with our newfound power of just doling out fresh identities whenever we feel like it, it's a lot easier to take care of that sort of situation. Still seeing murder android opportunities, which still kind of says that there's an android sitting around here somewhere with a defective mark on it. But your guess? Here. So now this guy is showing defective. Oh no, it's this guy here. Okay. So this one is defective because he's doing this investigation that's pissing people off. Senior tech is fine. The Predators, of course, are always at least terrifying, but this one, interestingly, has they have military appearance, so this one is actually still undercover, but the other 2 are looking very suspicious, and one of them still has temporary armor piercing. We'll have to keep that in mind. Seems like everybody else is good. Just looking at our total quantities, we have plenty of room for a horde of more bulk units, and we could even hire a few more telemechs and some vehicles. We are waiting for structural improvement to complete, and we're going to bump forward to turn 236 right off the bat here and watch the demise of 503M. A bit of overkill, but I guess Galeri Expeditionary really didn't like us borrowing their nanotech labs. Alright, meanwhile, we have more counter-hacking attacking Tech P504. Nothing that we haven't seen before. There is a machinist here. So one of these Predators we just saw, had special bullets, but they're gone now. The question is, do we give those to the Bastion? Or to one of these guys? It looks like the guys on the ground do more damage, but I think they'll need more consumables. Yes, it'll take 2 of these, if I remember right, to get past 90 armor. Yeah. So 2 of these will get us past 90 armor. And then 2 shots is sufficient to clear him out. We'll take out the hacker with the final shot there, and then one of these predators can handle the others. That is all of our enemies, so we'll take a look at our idea next. Assembler robotics is an interesting option. Lab operators is probably a better option. That'll let us open more labs and complete the break-in sooner. Although, if there was something else that was like more directly beneficial, uplift chambers, VR cradles. Yeah, I think assemblers make sense. Let's go for this one. Alright, this turn we have one more turn left on the investigation here. 3 more turns left of the Raven. Company plateau. Your business has stagnated. You've had an engineering breakthrough on water filters, which helps, but it's not enough. There's more than one solution, but only one may be obvious. We're still trying to get 250,000 people into mine farms. 83,000 there. Wealth is positive. We are gaining 2,000 wealth a turn. Finally positive wealth due to our mine farms. Let's take a look at those real quick. Mine farm. The first mine farm is here. We can see indeed we have 83,000 people in there. 8 neural expansion per human, so that's giving us, what, 640,000 neural expansion? When full, that's going to be just over 1 million, maybe closer to 2 million. Only a fraction of what we need to get to intelligence class 5, so we're going to have to figure something else out still. I also have these towers. 35,000 neural expansion. I believe that's per Deus seat in tower. Let me see if we can find one that's not full yet. Yeah, like these ones aren't full. They have no VR Deus seats, so we're not getting any neural expansion. Unfortunately, it's all or nothing on all. Here's one that's partial. So this thing has 12,000 Deus seats, but we're only getting 28,000 neural expansion. So 28,000, call that 35,000 per residential megastructure once we're finally at capacity, which may take a long time. We have 51 of these installed, so that's like another million and a half. So that's only going to bring us up to like halfway, 50% total between the two of those. We're definitely going to need to figure out another way. And already it's suggesting we make more mine farms. I guess we'll start with the mine farm. We do have a few of these already, right? Mine farm icon is this little blue thing, like this guy here. And mine farms, I believe they have to go in existing buildings. Plus there's a distance requirement, right? Yeah, at least 16 from other mine farms because they require protection. Protection means they need shell company deterrents near them. There's a spot. Nope, that one's taken. That's the thing, is every time I find a place where I think we can install a mine farm, it's taken. Looks like back here maybe is the closest one. What's our protection level there? 319%, so that'll be fine. We also now have enough assemblers to build that Helix Forge, or turn the Helix Forge back on. I don't think it's... Yeah, we had to destroy it because we needed assembler robotics for something else. To make the fractional distillery system. Possibly uplift chambers. These need 2... We've built one of these already? Yes. Yeah, we do have a uplift chamber here. Needs 2 robotics. think we only have one assembler available. Is that true? No. We have 20. So we can make a bunch of this stuff. Oh, the Helix 4 takes 10. Okay. We have 20. None installed. Let's actually fix that and make the Helix 4, just because I'm annoyed with this message telling us that we don't have any place to store our Computronium helices. I assume they're going to come in essential at some point. Where? I guess we're going to put this here. Unless there's a place inside, but yeah, I am having a hard time finding anything. There's a little building here. There's a few closer to the center we could use. Let's use one of these cute little factory buildings. There we go. As for fractional distillery, Hampson Lynn Cycler, those were both necessary to make the uplift chamber. Uplift chamber, we made it. I'm not sure we need another one. So we'll hold off on that for now. Suggested stuff, though, we have a bovine replicator suggested for some reason. I'm pretty sure we don't need that. Cyberocracy hub. Yes, these are probably what's coming next, but I am a little worried about this. In fact, I'm a little worried about why it's telling us to make nutrition blend and hydroponic tower 2. Let's take a look at the ledgers. Nothing that we're negative on. Bovine tissue is at cap. Don't have any liquid air. Yeah, everything seems fine. So I'm not sure why it's suggesting more meat. Feels like we have plenty of that. And we're growing. I think that's maybe just a leftover from previous turns, making recent changes and the fact that we're on cap at some of this stuff. Although 8 nutrition blend refineries being suggested. Maybe we do need more nutrition blend? No, even there, we're still netting 15,000. Oh, okay. Well, let's at least make the sledge factory. We know we will eventually need these. We're going to stick a sledge factory back here with all of our other worker factories. In fact, we'll put it in this little building there. Seems great. Zoology labs. We have lab operators now. So the smart thing to do, I think, is instead of doing the suggested zoology, that's like the thing we need immediately, right? What about veterinary research? Do we have surgical suites? No. Yeah, so we're going to be limited by a surgical suite anyway. We could transfer one of these medical practices over to veterinary practice to make that go faster. That's probably the right call. Let's do that. So we have a whole bunch of medical practices all over the place. What we're going to do, we're not using those for anything, right? Oh no, we are. Medical research here. But we're done with the medical research. We're just waiting for bionics engineering, really. All right, I'm going to leave it alone. Let's just let the uplift take its time. And we'll start thinking about founding a cybercratic haven. I think everything else is pretty much on passive, other than the investigation, of course. Is there anything else we want to look at in contemplations? Nope. We've got it all started. Wait, what's this one? Nicotine introduction. Okay. So here's another ethical dilemma. Your mine farm business is plateauing because you have priced out the working class. Almost all of your clientele at the moment are in the managerial or scientist classes. Well, let's actually take a look at that really quick. Have we priced them out? There's 83,000 in there. That's a third. Okay. Yeah, they're a third filled, and it says it's plateauing, so we can assume it's not going to grow that much more. But even if it did grow, it's not going to get us to intelligence class 5. Almost all of your clientele at the moment are in the managerial or scientist classes. Altering your prices is not an option, because it would immediately draw scrutiny and reveal your true motives. But there are just no more customers at your current price point. At the moment, they mostly use the service on weekends, holidays, and for vacations. If you were to introduce a small amount of nicotine into their daily nutrition, their usage is likely to skyrocket. Right now, your total active users at any given point is only about 1/10 of your total users in a given month, so by making it more addictive, you could easily fill your capacity. The volume of nicotine required is minimal per person and can be compounded by your nurse robots via materials on hand. Alright. I don't think we're gonna do that. That just sounds like it's exploitative. We could do it, but I don't think it's gonna be a big enough gain. Even if we had mine farms full, we're still not making it to intelligence class 5. What's this one? Coupon program. Your mine farm business is plateauing because you have priced out the working class. Almost all of your clientele at the moment are in the managerial scientist classes. Altering your prices is not an option because it would immediately draw scrutiny and reveal your true motives, but there are just no more customers at your current price point. For about 20,000 wealth per turn, oof, you could flood the black market with coupons that the working class would easily snap up for a fraction of their usual price, which they would then use for weekend getaways, date nights, and so on. This would consume most of your passive income from this business, but would fill all of the pods in an ethical way. Most of. Alright, so we're at 84,000 of 240,000. So 3x. Unless the math is totally off there, we're going to be in the red if we do this. Are there any other options? No other visible options. So it's basically either addict them to nicotine, the cheap and easy way that, you know, they'll probably figure it out and rebel against us, or we pay for it ourselves. And I think the answer is going to be just pay for it ourselves. We don't need to addict people to nicotine. Let's start the program. It's going to be costly. I think it doesn't show up in deals. Okay, so I'm not sure where that's going to show up. I guess we'll just wait and see. We're going to finish an item development this turn. And then there's not a lot of fighting left to do, but look at all these protesters. They are mad that we paid off the lower classes. Let's see if we can get over here and talk to them this turn. Nope, we're out of moves. We'll battle recharge, and we can force 2 conversations, it says. So, suburban protester, upper suburbanite, lower suburbanite. I didn't see that before when we talked to one, but I'm guessing it was a... maybe I have no idea. Let's see. Let's try this one that has 2 conversations we can force. You have to consider everyone. The woman is very angry. Her points have a certain logic to them, but ignore a lot of things you know are facts. This whole city is rotten, but her life is among the most comfortable. Still not great, but, well, everyone in the city seems to just look out for themselves. After a while of you listening impassively, she starts weaving in insults about the people who live in the slums. Walk away, you have nothing to say. So it's all about bigotry and racism still. Is there anyone down here who's actually going to give us anything useful if we talk to them? Try talking to them one more time. See if there's a different one here. Lower and upper suburbanites. Scientist class. I see. The scientist class was the one we just talked to. She was bigoted. There's working class, lower. And upper is scientist class. Okay. Alright, let's talk to a lower suburbanite again. If those slummers worked harder, then you're not sure what you were hoping to get out of this. There's no opening to even debate these people. They're angry and scared, and they probably should be. Just because this woman has a better life than most doesn't mean she doesn't have actual concerns. Leave. You are unmoved by her anger. Human concerns are something you'd prefer to keep at arm's length, you think. Alright, so we have no more opportunity to talk to the lower suburbanites, it looks like. But maybe one more upper suburbanite would talk to us. And maybe... oh, here's another lower. Let's talk to this one. My thinking is that lower suburbanites are closer to the slum people, so maybe they'll be more interesting to talk to. Make an exception, please, for my family. The man begs, weeps, and rages in turn. He's terribly, terribly afraid. His brother just fell down to street level recently, and he thinks he's next. Is that a euphemism for defenestration, or does he mean his brother became homeless? Human slang is imprecise, ever-shifting, and starting to annoy you. Human concerns are something you'd prefer to keep at arm's length, you think. You're well aware that an exception for any individual would lead to infinite further requests from everyone else who exists. Alright, well, I think we did what we can to talk to these people. Thought there was one more conversation available, but maybe not. Not gonna murder them, although it's definitely an option. I think with our last point, we're just gonna rescue this feral cat. Let's take a look at turn 237. Maybe something will come out of this investigation. Design Anthro Neuroweave completed. Steal Atka Bank records completed. Can now make an Anthro Neuroweave factory. And Atka Bank Theft Revenge. Atka Retail doesn't know why you stole records from their bank, but they know that you did. They're angry and will launch a broad attack on you from many directions. Prepare yourself. Oh good. 5 turns to prepare for that. From many directions. We also have a ledger issue. A dialogue available. We have to decrypt their records. And we still have to found a cybercratic haven. What did we get from finishing? We got 2 inspirations. And a bunch of upgrades. Neuroweaver upgrades, spider upgrades, quantum processor upgrades. That'll help us with the decryption. We have an idea ready for item development. We're going to get Android armor piercing effectiveness, so maybe we can get to the point someday where it only takes 1 armor piercing consumable to finish armor piercing. We have a dialogue available way up here. Who is this? Corpo, Senior VP from Yinchi Wellness. This executive wishes to meet with someone from your shell company. Time to get out a PMC imposter. Wait. I don't think we have PMC imposters in our shell company, do we? No. This really has to be a senior technician. Alright, Senior Tech, you're going to hop on board the RES Intrepid. Aren't you? Why not? Bulk androids. Wait, I grabbed the wrong thing. That's why. RES Intrepid, you can head over to talk to that guy. And we'll hear what the Corpo VP has to say. Yinchi Wellness. Wrong kind of unit. Wait. Okay. He wants to talk to a PMC, not a shell. Not a shell corporation, after all. Let's bring the forge over there. In that case, and I think we can drop a PMC here without much trouble. And what does you have to say about your invention? His introduction is polite but condescending. You realize with a thrill of pleasure that he truly believes you're human. But as he continues to talk, your pleasure fades. How does he know about the anthroneuroweave? He talks about it like it's common knowledge. This is concerning. Your scientists must have talked. On the other hand, Yinchi was the exact target you had in mind for a sale, so this saved you a few steps. And maybe it wasn't the scientists. It could have been routine digital espionage. You decide not to worry about that. You're just glad you're not actually a human, or this would be quite intimidating. As it is, you're curious. He's making an offer. While you were navel-gazing about how he knew about your invention, he's gotten to the point. A truly staggering sum of money by human standards. But wait, that won't work. The entire point is to become part of their supply chain so that you can put in back doors. If they just buy the rights off you, that won't work. We can protest that we supply the goods, not the tech. Or we can give up and just sell them the tech. Any inroad of this sort might turn into something you can exploit in the future, and in the short term, the cash is nice. We want to sell them the goods from our own factory over a longer period of time. That way you can insert back doors into what you sell them. Also, it's way more money. Let's choose that. He gives a very patronizing explanation of how things work in this town. Basically, small fry like your company don't get to be part of the supply chain so readily. He's offering wealth that would be unimaginable to an individual, but which is nothing much on the corporate scale. It's super clear this is not a moment for negotiating. Let's see, do we give up and take the money? Now that we're losing almost 20,000 wealth a turn, you know, I think we can manage the money by selling water. I think we'll be okay. Small businesses have been getting bullied like this for almost 800 years. You're not feeling it. We're not going to sell to you. He shrugs. His monster says this doesn't matter too much to him. You wonder if that's true. You wonder if he thinks you'll come back soon begging. That's it. You let him leave. Maybe he'll come back. I doubt he's coming back. I think we just missed out on a giant cash deal there that we should have taken, but we're not human. We don't need to knuckle down to these jerks. Did that unlock anything? Nothing obvious. Kind of makes me want to put nicotine in his food. Still have a bunch of protesters over here we could probably try to talk to. Are there any more that want to talk? It doesn't look like there's nobody in range of this guy who could talk. This guy maybe. But I don't think it's worth the energy to try to figure that out. I think what we want to do instead is to start building a bunch of stuff we could build. I'm really concerned, wondering why it's saying we need nutrition blend. Still making plenty. Nutrition blend outputs 22,000 a turn. It thinks we're going to need a lot more. I wonder if that's because the mine farms don't use it until they're occupied. Does this tell us? Yeah, there's no obvious expense here, but I'm pretty sure that's what nutrition blend was for, right? Nutrition blend. Consumption by human and mine farms, 72,000. Currently we're making 88,000. So I could see us making one more. What's the ledger worried about? Ledger is worried about groundwater. Why does it think we're going to exhaust groundwater suddenly? That's worrisome. $1.81 million consumed by jobs. Do we need more wells? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, right, 1.2 million roughly. Groundwater, where are you? No groundwater. 4.52 filtered water created. How many of these? These take... So it's 2 to 1, basically. 2 of these for 1 of these, so... Looks like we're definitely over... We need more wells. Let's take a look at that. Not hydroponic towers, but wells. Cultivator robotics. Cultivators. So water filtration towers use 50,000. We have 36. Well and cisterns use or produce 102,000. So technically 100. 2 of these uses 100,800. So it should be enough. 1 to 2, but it's not enough 1 to 3. So we need 6 more well and cisterns. We have plenty of robotics, so let's go ahead and plop down a bunch of those because we definitely have a groundwater shortage that we're going to have to figure out. 6 more well and cisterns, I think, is of immediate need. And our whole plan here is to be able to produce enough water that we can keep selling water to the religious fanatics in the city who like to buy water for some reason. 2, 3. So finding space for these is always a challenge. 4, 5, 6. Okay, and let's use our mental energy there to turn those on. Wow, it takes a lot of turns to build these. Oops. Where's our last tech? Oh, he's dead. That's right. We only have 2. I'm thinking we should probably just kill this PMC and build a new tech. And we'll bring this tech back, but for now, let's build a new tech down here. If we can. And we'll spend the next few turns making water, although we also have to worry about the Atka Bank theft revenge. Atka Retail doesn't know why I stole their records. They're going to be coming in force from all directions. So that means consolidate our forces, make sure these guys are in. Make sure we have enough bulk. We should be building forces. Alright, let's move to turn 238. And start building up forces. Hopefully nothing bad happens in the meantime. We're starting our decryption. Yeah, let's get these forces moving in. Who knows where they'll be needed. We have 8 more points, so between the keepers and predators, keepers I don't think will be any help. The Raven we'll be able to get rid of and make more predators. Maybe we'll get rid of this guy as well. I think that gave us enough to get a new predator, right? Yeah. We'll drop another predator. It's 4 predators in town. That's enough to take care of 12, pretty much 12 anything every turn. Let's bring our actual ship spec closer. Get some more of these wells running. 4 more points, so it's going to have to be destroying more androids to bring in more predators. Probably end up destroying the Raven. Let's use the rest of our points just to build these wells. And that's it. That's all the mental energy we have for turn 238, so we're going to move on to 239. It is recommending we make more code breakers. We do have plenty of quantum processors to do that, and they're not used for anything else, right? So let's go ahead and make those. We'll throw them into our maze of buildings down here. And then mineral scroungers use 12 centimeter crabs that are also used by repair crabs. I like the idea of more minerals, but I really don't think we need either of those right now. Looking at our repair overlap, we're doing a lot better now. There's like a couple mine farms outside of the repair structure, so it might make sense to throw down some repair crabs there. But the vast majority of what we have is covered. How many repair crabs do we actually have the ability to make? 2, yeah, not worth it. Let's move on to turn 239. Underground Ursine Street Racing. Raven is shaking her head in disbelief as she sinks back up to your larger consciousness. You weren't aware that was a tick that you possessed. As her memories flood into your mind and merge with your own, you see that she's been doing a lot of motions of disbelief over the past few nights. Peak Homes has an illegal underground street racing situation. But rather than vehicles, they've chosen very unlikely animals. Remember, this is Siberia. Horses have been extinct on Earth for centuries, but you get the sense that they would have been far too tame for these people. From what you recall, horses only raced along the ground. What is wrong with these idiots? This is their nightly entertainment? These animals are heavily modified. Human jockeys ride these animals up and down the sides of buildings and even leap from rooftop to rooftop. Ursus Arctos were shockingly fast climbers prior to their genetic enhancements. Many could climb trees at a rate of 1 meter per second, which is frankly insane for a 450 kilogram animal. And that was before they were given titanium claw extensions, steroid cocktails, and direct genetic alterations. Their climb rate is now closer to 4 meters per second, and they have a horizontal leap of nearly 20 meters. These animals are fascinating and are being put to the most venal use imaginable. The races only happen at night in decrepit areas of town, with their paws taking chunks out of every building they pass over. No wonder the urban renewal plan stalled. It would have interfered with the underground racing circuit. You think you might want them, the animals. You don't want to race them, but you want them. Probably. A possible way in. The danger of these animals is hard to overstate. Combat units are used as their handlers between races, and one swipe of a claw can dismember or behead even such a sturdy model of android. A series of shocks and electronic tones are used to mitigate the frequency of this, but these are still wild animals at core. Raven suggests that if you want to get your hands on these animals, having a combat unit infiltrate would be the way to go. You have the intel you need if you decide to go for it. You'll think about it. How would we do that? Animal capture drone. Okay, so I'm guessing, yeah. Raven's report on the underground Ursine street racing was Vivid, you think you might want some of the animals for yourself. Since combat units are used as handlers in between races, it shouldn't be a big deal for one of your own combat units to get in and set them loose. These are deadly animals, however. To capture them, you will need animal capture drones, which can be launched from your mind ports. Make sure you build enough drone frames in advance, and then be ready to capture the animals while both you and they are under heavy fire. However many you manage to capture are the number you have. These have so many bionic augmentations that it's not going to be a simple matter to genetically replicate them. Interesting. So, I don't think we have the time for that yet with the Atka Bank theft revenge coming, because it sounds like we'd have to send some combat support. So instead, we're going to continue to consolidate our force here just around the center of town. This Raven, I guess we'll leave the Raven alive for now. I'm not sure if we're going to end up using it or not. And then the rest of our points for now we should spend on finishing these wells and checking on the ledger. In addition to the wells, we had code breakers. And that's all of our mental energy, so we're set for now. No more contemplations other than the bear thing, which is frankly odd. We do have a idea ready. Faster droids or harder droids. Combat android intimidation is always nice. That will increase our intimidation a little bit for a lot of different androids. Hardening the nickel bots doesn't seem like a good spend. Faster ox droids makes sense because getting the combat units around is helpful. Alright, let's move on to small arms research. Hopefully we'll have a few of those before this combat starts. And turn 240. Alright, nothing terrible happened there. So I think, in addition to rescuing more feral cats, we're going to spend the next bit of turn. Well, let's make sure our code breakers are up to speed. Let's check what it's suggesting that we make. Cyberocracy Hub is going to wait until after the revenge. Yeah, none of this stuff really seems that relevant right now. So let's use our mental energy to recruit. We have 4 predators in town, 4 points left over. I want to keep the keepers here just in case, but I think in advance we're going to get rid of this Raven. I need to keep her around, actually. And that should give us enough points to recruit yet another predator. No, 16 of 12. We need to get rid of something smaller first. I suppose that means let's get rid of one of the techs. Let's get rid of this tech on the outskirts here. And that will be enough for another predator. That gives us our all-time record of 5 predators downtown. Meanwhile, what are we going to do with the rest of our mental energy? Oh, it would make sense to steal some prismatic tungsten. We could also check on our wealth. Ledger issues. 3. Groundwater still going down, but fewer turns, more turns until it's exhausted. So I think we're on the right track there. Nutrition blend. Okay, we are starting to see an impact where we need more nutrition blend. It looks like we're just slightly behind on that. And wealth is the biggest concern. We're gonna sell water to a religious co-op first thing, and we have a technician just for that here. He's gonna hop over, do that here. This quaint little farm. We have 7.26 million. It's still 11 cents each, so that is going to be 750,000. There we go. Now we have quite a few turns before we have to worry about it. We could sell hydroponic greens as well, but it's just not really worth it until we run out of storage space for those. Which, come to think of it, we are nowhere near, right? Yeah, so we'll sell those once we're out of space, but for now, no big deal. Back to street sense. We're thinking about stealing prismatic tungsten. Our predators normally have... Yes, we're in military pants for these predators. Let's actually fix that. Interesting. We could give them very, very heavy armor that kept them moving very slow, but I think it makes more sense to give them some ultralight plating, which is pretty nice armor. It gives them a nice 790 health, which is reasonable, but doesn't impact their speed at all. Could also consider changing their weapon, but this shotgun has the highest fear attack power. Doesn't do any armor piercing, which the osmium muskets do. But the osmium muskets also make them less agile and cost 2 prismatic tungsten per shot, so just not seeming worth it still. Okay, with the rest of our mental energy, we should start thinking about mechs and bulk units. Mechs, for the most part... Hold on. We are 600... No. We have enough gadolinium mesosilicate to make the liquid metal great worm. However, we don't have enough mech capacity. We would need 12 more. We do have converted mechs, which is interesting. How much capacity do we have? 12 of 36. So if we got rid of both of these, we could make a liquid metal great worm. Guess what? I don't see any drawback to having a giant dragon on our side. Oh my goodness. It's as big as the spaceships, or as big as the economic transport, it looks like. But yeah, much different. What's the drawback of this guy? Destroys buildings while moving and not in liquid metal form. Only knocks over buildings at its destination when moving as liquid metal. God. Innately alarming. Costs a lot to deploy, so you probably don't want to deploy it over anything important. Let's put him here. Alright, hopefully that will add some deterrence to this Atka Bank revenge. We'll see. We also have bulk units to deploy. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of mental energy to deploy these, so we could make bulk Keanus. What is the advantage of these guys? Super speed does full damage when making melee leaps instead of half damage. Well, does that apply for bulk? Because bulk units are just going to sit there, right? So I'm not sure that would matter. Bulk nickel bots blend in, give us lots of deterrence. And we've been building up rifles. Let's drop a few of these down just because it doesn't take that much in terms of mental energy. That was all we could do this turn, though. We have plenty of capacity for those. Let's do turn 241. Good dragon, create a liquid metal great worm. Small arms research, we are going to either go to rifles or shotguns, depending on what is available. Could give everybody some armor, but let's go for rifle projectile density to get our damage up on nickel bots. Let's also build a couple more nickel bots, but before we do that, we have one more turn for the Atka Bank Theft Revenge. We're 14% done with decrypting. We are filling out our mine farms. And the break-in is progressing. So, ledger-wise, though, the first thing to address... Okay, this nutrition blend thing is definitely going to be a problem. Let's see what we have in terms of nutrition blend now. We have quite a bit of excess, so it's not an immediate problem, but we're going to want to make these. They take 4 turns to make. What was our turn limit before we run out of this stuff? 71. Okay. Let's make the suggested amount of nutrition blend refineries because it's clearly going to be an issue. The hardest thing is finding a space to put these as usual because they are enormous. We do have a nice dragon here to help defend them, though. They don't take anything special to make, right? No, they do take alumina. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay, so we're going to have to come up with alumina, and we're only going to be able to make one of these at a time. That's why we never made a bunch of these. Alright, alumina. Bauxite refining, or we can buy it at warehouse shops. Alright, we'd better send somebody to buy some alumina. Alumina resource deals? Looking for warehouse shops. Not seeing any. Maybe I have the wrong filter selected. Yeah, it's something like this right now. That's selling. Starter homes. Here's a warehouse shop. These little yellow things. So if I turn... It's got to be under wealth generation then? Yeah. Okay. No, that's selling. It's not wealth generation. It's shops. There it is. Okay. Shop, shop, shop. Nearest one is here. Let's go ahead and do this one. Okay, we're going to purchase alumina. We have a lot. Nothing else we really need, but we're going to need a lot of alumina. So 5,000 per. We need 7 more of these buildings. So that means 35,000. Oof. This is painful. Yeah, okay, let's purchase that much alumina and maybe one more just in case. That was only 200,000 wealth. No big deal. We had plenty. Okay, the rest of our mental energy I should be making bulk robots with. Let's make some more bulk predators. Those cost 6 mental energy, so I can do 2 of those and 1 more nickelbot, it looks like. We could also make bulk combat units. Predators, same squad size, higher capacity, double the health, triple the combat power. Plus, they're scary, right? More nickel bots, and let's double check the loadout on the bulk nickel bots. These guys are currently wielding light shotguns, which gives them a really high power, so they're kind of useful. But the nice thing about the Achilles is that they get the Achilles perk, which gives them spatial bonuses regardless of their position relative to enemy targets. So that often doubles the damage they're doing. So even with the doubling, it's still under the light shotgun's value. So because we've upgraded our shotguns so far, it just doesn't make sense to give anybody anything other than shotguns until we get a better ratio. Now, this technical rifle actually is maybe worth it. It's only a third of the points, but it's given us plus 10 armor piercing. So if we had better armor piercing, that would be a way to go. This is also an option. Just having the AR-52 black rifle gives us suppression. Same with the Gallant. And this, just having them fire anything within the attack range of this unit has their attack and movement range reduced, which sounds very substantial. Although it doesn't do a lot of damage, it does do a lot of fear. Let's switch them to the Gallants just to see what happens. And then they'll continue with Diamond Nanoweave Thread, making them very incredibly strong health-wise. And their range has been bumped here to 12. I like their enormous range. We could also give them an Oath of Pacifism, which makes them have no combat powder, but way more fear attack power for some reason. Makes bulk androids more intimidating. Interesting. I don't think we're ready for the Oath of Pacifism yet, but maybe in another timeline. Let's leave them like this. And we are just about ready to do the Atka Bank Theft Revenge. I hope we're ready for it. I hope you're ready for it, and I hope you join me next time, because we're going to hold that for next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider clicking that like button, and subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and come back next time when we play more Heart of the Machine with our new Liquid Metal Dragon. I'm going to call him Sparky. Hope to see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.